Hello and welcome everyone to Ezoic Explains. I am Tyler Bishop, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about finding which content on your site is the most valuable. One of the things that publishers often are trying to understand better is what content they can write that's going to produce the most amount of revenue. So that's partially looking at what content is going to drive traffic, but also what content is going to produce high ad rates and then also high overall monthly revenue. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is a secret that I think a lot of publishers miss, and it's how landing page revenue is actually more important than your RPMs or your CPMs. And the reason that is because publishers often fail to find their most valuable content because they get too focused on organic keywords or trending topics. This is a great way to figure out what kind of information might be popular amongst your readers, so it's definitely worth doing. The downside of that is that you often miss that second piece, which is what content is actually going to drive the revenue. And so the publishers that do start to look at this, unfortunately, look at page RPM. So when you look at page RPM, you're essentially seeing which pages are producing the most amount of ad revenue, but it's only on a page basis, not a visit basis. So the best way that I can use to describe why this is something we need to shift in terms of the way that we think and look at information is, let's pretend I have a car website. On this car website, I maybe am looking at 4 different landing pages. So this means the page that a visitor initially comes to on my website. Let's pretend it's through organic search. So all 4 of these articles rank, and I've got one about Jay Leno and his favorite car. I've got one about the fastest car ever made. I've got 4 different articles here, and if I look at their RPMs, it becomes really obvious to me that this one at the top on Jay Leno's favorite car has the highest RPM. So this is my highest earning content, right? Wrong. Actually, when we start looking at landing pages, we start to get a little bit different of a view, and this is why this is so important. If we look at the average page views per visit of visitors that land on these pages, what we'll learn is that the value shifts a lot. So this means if we were going to look at that Jay Leno article and say, I need to write more content like this to earn more money, I'd be wrong. I'd be focused on the least important piece of content, because as we dig deeper and we look at the math behind this, the visitors that land on this page, even though it has a higher RPM, because it only gets 1.1 page views per visit, the total amount of revenue is only $16.50. Meanwhile, the article with the $10 RPM, nearly 33% lower, is going to actually earn $28 per 1,000 visitors, mainly because this page is generating 2.8 page views per visit on average from visitors that land on that page. So when we start to look at this in that perspective, when we look at the visitors that land on those pages and what they do afterwards, if they visit subsequent pages, you can actually get a totally different view of your content and your visitors. So the visitors and the pages that we thought maybe were the least valuable in this case because it has the lowest RPM, those visitors and those pages are actually producing higher amounts of total revenue than my article with the $15 RPM. So in this case, my article about the fastest car ever made is actually going to generate more money for me at the end of the month than my Jay Leno one is if it has the same amount of visitors. So when we're evaluating what content we want to write more of, it's very important that we focus on landing page EPMV or session RPM. If you're an Ezoic user, you can go into big data analytics and then content and go to landing pages. Then you can actually take that EPMV column and drag it over to begin to see which articles are earning above average EPMVs to give you an idea of what types of content you're producing right now that are earning more than the average pages on your website. And you can even run a filter here so that you only see the pages that are getting decent traffic already. So this will give you an idea of what topics and subjects produce both your highest traffic and your highest revenue. This has been Ezoic Explains, and I've been talking a little bit more about how to find your most valuable content so that you can write more articles that produce more money for your website. And this is something that I think a lot of publishers miss out on, and hopefully it's something that you can use to your advantage If it does work out great for you, please leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your story. Thanks for listening to Ezoic Explains.